What does it really mean to be kind? Some people say kindness is strength. Others believe kindness is weakness. In this episode of Zero Day Learner, I share my own experiences growing up in the Hmong community and the lessons I have learned through family, everyday life, and simple observations. I'm not a scholar, a psychologist, or a religious teacher. I'm simply sharing my personal journey. My thoughts may change as I continue learning, and I'm always open to being corrected. Over the years, people have described me as kind. That made me wonder, is kindness something to be proud of, or does it make us weak? In this video, I reflect on what kindness has meant in my own life, why I believe we can choose the kind of person we become, and why, as we grow older, love and compassion often matter more than winning arguments. I don't believe kindness means letting people take advantage of us. To me, kindness is treating others with respect while also having the courage to be honest, set healthy boundaries, and continue learning. These are simply my reflections. I hope they encourage you to reflect on your own life as well. Thank you for watching. Episode 8, Part 1. Is kindness a strength or a weakness? Hello, my name is Thao. Welcome to Zero Day Learner. Today I'd like to ask a simple question. Is kindness a strength or is it a weakness? Growing up, I heard different answers. Some people admired kindness. Others believed that if you were too kind, people would take advantage of you. Perhaps both can happen. I'm still learning. I don't think of myself as an especially kind person. I'm simply trying to treat people the way how I feel. Over the years, though, I've heard people say things that made me stop and think. One person once told me, "Nai is one of the kindest people in our community." I didn't know how to respond. I simply smiled. In the Hmong family system, people often address one another according to family relationships rather than age alone. Because of my place within my clan and extended family, many younger relatives, and even some who are older than I am in years, call me Grandpa. It's a title of family relationship and respect, not simply a reflection of age. When I attend family gatherings or funerals, I enjoy talking with everybody. I remember asking one of my granddaughters-in-law, "Is the coffee ready yet?" She smiled warmly and replied, "No, Grandpa, not yet." It wasn't an important conversation. It lasted only a few seconds. But sometimes the smallest moments reveal the kind of relationship we have with one another. Respect doesn't always come from authority. Sometimes it grows from kindness shared over many years. Another time, I was helping at a funeral. Someone said, "He is a very kind man." One of the grandsons smiled proudly. Then another person quietly said, "Kindness is weakness." That sentence stayed with me long after the conversation ended. As I drove home, I kept asking myself, is kindness really weakness? Or have we confused kindness with something else? To me, kindness doesn't mean agreeing with everyone. It doesn't mean allowing people to mistreat us. And it doesn't mean we never say no. Kindness simply means remembering that every person we meet is carrying struggles we may never see. A gentle word, a patient conversation, a warm smile. These things may seem small, but sometimes they become the brightest part of another person's day. I've also noticed something in my own life. People often speak to us in the same spirit we offer them. When we approach others with respect, they often respond with respect. Not always, but often enough to remind me that kindness has a quiet power. Maybe kindness doesn't make us weak. Maybe it takes strength to remain kind in a world that sometimes encourages anger, pride, and division. I don't know if I'll ever have the perfect answer, but this much I do know. When I think about the people I admire most, I don't remember them because they were the loudest. I remember them because they made other people feel valued. And to me, that is real strength. Episode 8, Part 2. Is kindness a strength or a weakness? After thinking about kindness, another question came to my mind. If life is difficult for everyone, then what kind of life do I want to create? Years ago, I wrote a quote that I still think about today. It says, quote, "All lives were born with negatives and struggles since the beginning. However, you alone can be creative and align yourself with joys and successes." Unquote. Or, every life begins with struggles and challenges. But each of us has the ability to create a life filled with kindness, joy, and purpose. When I first wrote those words, I didn't fully understand them. Today, they mean even more to me. None of us chooses where we are born. We don't choose our parents. We don't choose whether our childhood is peaceful or filled with hardship. Some people begin life with many opportunities. Others begin with almost nothing. Even begin with an illness or a negative thought that one day will cause problems. My own family lived through war. We fled our home. We became refugees. We started over in another country. Those were not choices I made. They were simply part of my story. But as I grew older, I realized something. Although I cannot change my past, I can choose how I live today. I can choose whether I speak with anger or with patience. I can choose whether I hold on to bitterness or learn to forgive. I can choose whether I make someone else's day a little heavier or a little lighter. That doesn't mean life suddenly becomes easy. Kindness doesn't remove pain. It doesn't guarantee success. And it doesn't mean everyone will treat us fairly. Sometimes kind people are misunderstood. Sometimes they are taken for granted. Sometimes they are even hurt by those they try to help. But even knowing that, I still think kindness is worth choosing. Not because it changes everyone else, but because it changes me. Every act of kindness shapes the kind of person I am becoming. I also believe kindness begins at home. Love your family. Accept people for who they are. Take care of one another. Enjoy the ordinary moments you share together. When we live this way, I think something beautiful happens. Our homes become more peaceful. Our hearts become lighter. And little by little, we help create the kind of world we hope to live in. Perhaps that is what creativity really means. Not only painting pictures or building great inventions, but creating a life that reflects the values we want to leave behind. For me, I want kindness to be one of those values. Episode 8, Part 3. Is kindness a strength or a weakness? As I grow older, I notice that my questions are changing. When I was young, I wanted to understand the world. Today, I also want to understand people. When we're young, it's easy to compare ourselves with others. We want to be right. We want to win arguments. Sometimes we become angry with our brothers and sisters. Sometimes friendships end because neither person wants to take the first step toward forgiveness. Sometimes we carry hurt for years. At the time, those arguments seem very important. But as the years pass, many of them begin to look much smaller. When I think about people in their 80s and 90s, I notice something. Many no longer talk about who won an argument 30 years ago. They don't remember every disagreement. Instead, they talk about their children, their grandchildren, old friends, happy memories, the people they loved. As we grow older, love often becomes more important than being right. Kindness becomes more valuable than pride. Perhaps that is one of life's quiet lessons. Time has a way of showing us what truly matters. When I think about the end of my own life, I don't hope people remember me because I won debates. I don't hope they remember me because I had all the answers. I hope they remember that I tried to treat people with respect, that I smiled, that I listened, that I loved my family, that I tried to leave the world a little gentler than I found it. Maybe kindness isn't weakness after all. Maybe kindness takes courage. It takes patience when we feel frustrated. It takes forgiveness when we have been hurt. It takes humility to admit when we are wrong. And it takes quiet strength to continue being kind in a world that doesn't always reward it. People may not remember every opinion we held. They may not remember every success we achieved, but they often remember how we made them feel. If someone remembers me years from now, I hope it isn't because I was the loudest person in the room. I hope it's because I help someone feel seen, respected, welcome. If that's the legacy I leave behind, that will be enough for me. Thank you for listening. If these thoughts have encouraged you to reflect on your own life, I'd be honored if you subscribe to Zero Day Learner. I'm Thao. Take good care of yourself. Take good care of your family. And never stop learning.